My beloved, you are not here by accident. Even now, as you listen, something within you knows this moment is set apart, a divine appointment written long before you ever pressed play. There are no coincidences in the courts of heaven, only sacred alignments. Today, October 31st, 2025, is not just another day on the calendar. It is a window, a threshold, a moment when the veil between what is hidden and what is revealed grows thin. You may have felt overlooked, delayed, or even forgotten, but the truth is, you have been preserved for such a time as this. There are messages that pass us by, whispers we ignore, nudges we dismiss. Sometimes, the most important words are the ones we almost miss. But today, you are here, and the message is reaching you. This is the difference between missed and received, between wandering in uncertainty and stepping into clarity. The timing is not random. The very fact that you are hearing these words now is a sign that heaven's attention is upon you. The scroll of your life is being unsealed, and what was once locked away is being brought into the light. You may wonder why this moment feels so urgent, why your spirit is stirred. It is because there is a window, brief, but powerful, when the right word can shift the course of your life. Within the next 24 to 72 hours, you will sense confirmations, signs that this message is not just for anyone, but for you. The difference between a missed opportunity and a received blessing is often a matter of presence, of being awake to the divine hour. So, beloved, I invite you to stay with me to the end. There is a word of protection and restoration waiting for you, a blessing that is being released in this very hour. Do not let this moment pass you by. The next step is about to unfold, and your spirit is ready to receive what heaven has prepared. You have carried burdens that few have seen. There are wounds beneath your surface, scars that do not show in the light of day, and questions that echo in the quiet hours of the night. Perhaps you have wondered why the path has been so hard, why doors have closed just as you reached for them, why people you trusted have turned away, or why the answers you prayed for seem to be delayed. It is easy to see only the pain, to feel only the sting of disappointment, and to wonder if you have been forgotten or left behind. But, my beloved, what is visible to you is only a fraction of the story. In the courts of heaven, your tears have not gone unnoticed. Every sigh, every silent prayer, every moment you felt alone, these have been gathered and treasured. There is a sacred record, a scroll with your name, and on it is written every trial you have endured. What you have called tragedy, heaven has often called preservation. What felt like rejection was, in truth, a redirection, a gentle hand moving you away from what would have harmed you, even when you could not see the danger. There are times when the greatest acts of protection are hidden from our eyes. You may have felt the sting of betrayal, but what you did not see was the shield that was raised on your behalf. You may have mourned a lost opportunity, but what you could not know was the trap that was set just beyond that open door. The delays you have faced were not punishments, but pauses, divine pauses, meant to keep you safe until the right moment arrived. The world may have called it a setback, but heaven calls it a safeguard. Imagine the unseen hands of angels, standing guard over your life, intercepting harm, rerouting your steps, and whispering comfort when you felt most alone. There is a sacred bureaucracy at work, a heavenly administration that moves on your behalf, even when you are unaware. The pain you have felt is real, but so is the preservation that has surrounded you. The contrast between what you have endured and what you have been spared is greater than you know. You are not being punished. You are being preserved. The storms you have weathered were not sent to destroy you, but to reveal the strength within you and to keep you from greater harm. The betrayals you have suffered were not signs of your unworthiness, but evidence that you are being set apart for something higher, something holy. The delays are not denials, they are divine detours, leading you away from danger and toward your true destiny. If you could see the full tapestry of your life, you would see threads of gold woven through every dark moment. You would see the fingerprints of angels on every closed door, every missed connection, every tear-stained night. You are not alone in your pain, and you have never been abandoned. The preservation of heaven is not always loud or obvious, but it is always present, always working, always loving. So, as you reflect on the struggles you have faced, allow your heart to open to the possibility that what you called tragedy was, in fact, a form of hidden mercy. The next time you feel the ache of delay or the sting of betrayal, remember, you are being preserved for a purpose greater than you can imagine. And as this message continues, you will begin to see how every hidden pain is being transformed into a testimony of heavenly preservation, preparing you for the revelation that is about to unfold. There is a battle that rages around you, often invisible to the natural eye, yet its effects are felt in the deepest places of your life. You may have sensed it, a heaviness that lingers, a resistance that seems to rise up just as you are about to step forward, a pattern of setbacks that repeats itself no matter how hard you try. This is not your imagination. There are forces, both seen and unseen, that seek to interfere with your progress, to sow confusion, and to keep you from stepping fully into your calling. Sometimes, the interference comes from the outside, from people you once called friends, family, or trusted confidants. You may have noticed that those closest to you are not always the ones who cheer you on. In fact, it is often those within your inner circle who, knowingly or unknowingly, become instruments of sabotage. Their words may sound supportive, but their actions reveal another story. Promises are made and broken, encouragement is laced with doubt, and apologies come without true change. The difference between trusted and true support is not always obvious at first, but over time, patterns emerge. Pay attention to the cycles. Do you find yourself repeatedly drawn into the same arguments, the same disappointments, the same betrayals? Do you notice that just as you begin to gain momentum, something or someone pulls you back? These are not random occurrences. They are patterns, spiritual fingerprints, left by forces that do not want to see you advance. The courts of heaven see these cycles, and today, you are being given the discernment to recognize them for what they are. But the battle is not only external. There is also an inner antagonist, a voice within that echoes the doubts and fears of the past. This voice whispers that you are not enough, that you will never break free, that your dreams are too big or your faith too small. It reminds you of every failure, every rejection, every moment you felt unworthy. This inner interference is subtle, but it is powerful. It keeps you second-guessing your decisions, questioning your worth, and shrinking back from opportunities that are meant for you. The contrast between trusted and true support is crucial in this season. Trusted support may look familiar, comfortable, and even loyal, but true support is proven by action, consistency, and a willingness to stand with you through every storm. True support does not just apologize for the past, it changes for the future. It does not just speak words of encouragement, it invests in your growth and celebrates your victories without envy or reservation. Heaven is calling you to become a watcher of patterns, not just a listener to apologies. The enemy of your soul is clever, often disguising interference as concern, sabotage as advice, and delay as wisdom. But you are being given new eyes to see. The patterns that have held you back are being exposed, and the cycles that have kept you bound are being broken. You are not destined to repeat the same disappointments. You are being called out of the cycle and into a new season of clarity and freedom. As you reflect on your relationships and your own inner dialogue, ask yourself, who truly supports my growth? Who celebrates my progress without reservation? Where do I see repeated cycles of interference, and what is my spirit telling me about them? The answers may surprise you, but they will also empower you. You are not powerless in this battle. The courts of heaven are on your side, and the angels are fighting for your breakthrough. Remember, the difference between trusted and true support can determine the pace and direction of your journey. Do not be afraid to set boundaries, to distance yourself from those who repeatedly undermine your progress, or to silence the inner critic that keeps you small. You are being equipped to recognize interference, both external and internal, and to rise above it with wisdom and strength. This is the season to break free from the patterns that have held you back. The unseen battle is real, but so is your victory. As you move forward, you will begin to see the difference between what is familiar and what is faithful, between what is comfortable and what is truly supportive. The next phase of your journey will reveal why this discernment is so vital, and how hope can rise even in the midst of urgency. There are moments in life when the air itself feels charged, when you sense that something is shifting in the unseen realm. This is one of those moments. The message you are receiving is not just a gentle encouragement for some distant future, it is a call to attention for this very hour. The urgency you feel is not meant to stir anxiety or dread, but to awaken you to the reality that your response, right now, can change the outcome of what is unfolding. You may have heard whispers of impending tragedy, felt the weight of warnings, or sensed a storm gathering on the horizon. It is natural to feel fear when faced with the unknown, to brace yourself for what might go wrong. But heaven's message to you today is not one of fear, but of hope. The contrast is clear. Where the world sees only the threat of tragedy, the courts of heaven see the opportunity for divine intervention. What others call a crisis, heaven calls a turning point. This is not a time to shrink back or to let fear dictate your choices. Instead, it is a sacred window, a divine hour, when your faith, your prayers, and your willingness to listen can shift the atmosphere around you. The sense of urgency is not a warning of doom, but an invitation to participate in your own deliverance. You are not a passive observer in your story, you are a co-creator with the divine, and your agreement with hope can open doors that fear would keep closed. Consider the stories of old, when disaster seemed certain, but a single act of faith changed everything. The Red Sea parted not because the threat disappeared, but because someone dared to step forward in hope. The walls of Jericho fell not because the danger was gone, but because a people chose to believe in the power of divine intervention. Today, you stand at your own threshold. The outcome is not fixed, it is waiting for your response. Heaven is not blind to the challenges you face. The warnings you have sensed are real, but they are not the final word. The message is clear: you are being given a choice between fear and faith, between bracing for tragedy and preparing for breakthrough. The urgency of this hour is a gift, a sign that you are being invited to partner with the angels, to declare protection over your life, and to expect intervention where others expect loss. Let hope rise within you. Let it be stronger than the voice of fear, louder than the echo of past disappointments. The divine hour is not about what you might lose, but about what you are about to gain. Your willingness to respond, to pray, to believe, and to act in faith is the key that unlocks the next chapter. The courts of heaven are watching, the angels are ready, and the outcome is not yet written in stone. As you move forward, remember that hope is not a passive wish, it is an active force. It is the decision to believe that divine intervention is possible, even when the odds seem stacked against you. The urgency you feel is not a threat, it is a summons. You are being called to stand in the gap, to declare life where others see loss, and to expect miracles in the very place where fear once reigned. The next step will reveal the signs and windows that confirm this message is for you, and how to recognize the divine hour when it arrives. There are moments in your life when heaven leans in, when the ordinary is interrupted by the extraordinary, and when the invisible hand of the divine leaves unmistakable fingerprints on your path. This is one of those moments, a prophetic window, a divine hour, set apart for you. Within the next 24 to 72 hours, you are being invited to watch, to listen, and to receive. The difference between a missed sign and a recognized one can change the entire course of your journey. Heaven often speaks in whispers, in gentle nudges, in patterns that repeat until we finally pay attention. Sometimes, the signs are bold: a sudden phone call, a door opening where you least expect it, a message that seems to answer a question you have not spoken aloud. Other times, the signs are subtle: a feeling of peace in the midst of chaos, a dream that lingers in your spirit, a scripture or phrase that repeats itself throughout your day. The key is not to demand how the sign will come, but to remain open and receptive, trusting that what is meant for you will not pass you by. In the next 24 to 72 hours, pay close attention to the details of your life. Notice the conversations that seem to carry extra weight, the opportunities that arise unexpectedly, the moments when your heart feels stirred for no apparent reason. These are not coincidences, they are signals from the courts of heaven, invitations to step into alignment with your destiny. The contrast between missed and recognized signs is not about worthiness, but about awareness. Heaven is always speaking, but it is the attentive heart that receives. You may find yourself drawn to certain numbers, names, or places. Perhaps you will encounter a stranger who speaks words that resonate deeply, or you will see a symbol, a feather, a coin, a flash of light, that feels like a gentle reminder that you are not alone. These are the breadcrumbs left for you, guiding you through the divine hour. Do not dismiss them as random or insignificant. The sacred bureaucracy of heaven is precise, and nothing is wasted. There may also be moments of resistance, where you feel an urge to retreat, to doubt, or to dismiss what you sense. This is the old pattern trying to reassert itself, the voice of the past attempting to drown out the new. But you are being called to a higher awareness, to recognize the signs that are meant for you and to respond with faith. The difference between a missed window and a seized opportunity is often a matter of courage, the willingness to say yes, even when you do not have all the answers. As you move through this prophetic window, consider keeping a journal nearby. Write down the impressions, dreams, and encounters that stand out. Reflect on the patterns that emerge, the confirmations that come, and the peace that settles in your spirit. This is not just a spiritual exercise, it is a way of honoring the communication between heaven and earth, of saying, I am listening. I am ready. I will not let this moment pass me by. Remember, the divine hour is not about pressure or perfection. It is about presence. It is about being awake to the possibility that heaven is closer than you think, that the answers you seek are already on their way, and that the signs you need will appear at just the right time. The courts of heaven are orchestrating details on your behalf, aligning people, places, and moments to bring you into the fullness of your purpose. If you find yourself doubting, pause and breathe. Ask for clarity. Say, I am open to receive. I will not miss what is meant for me. Trust that the signs will be clear, that the windows will open, and that the divine hour will not pass you by unnoticed. You are being guided, protected, and prepared for what comes next. As you remain alert and receptive, the next section will help you discern which voices and influences are truly for you, and how to set boundaries that protect your journey. In a world overflowing with voices, opinions, and advice, discernment is your shield and your compass. Not every voice that claims to guide you is sent from heaven. Not every hand that reaches out is meant to lift you higher. This is the hour to sharpen your spiritual senses, to separate truth from counterfeit, and to set boundaries that protect your peace and your purpose. The difference between discernment and deception is not always obvious at first, but it is vital for your journey. You have likely encountered people who speak the right words but carry the wrong spirit. Their encouragement may sound sweet, but it leaves you feeling drained or confused. Their urgency may feel pressing, but it is rooted in fear, not faith. These are the subtle marks of counterfeit support. True support brings clarity, peace, and empowerment. Counterfeit support brings confusion, anxiety, and dependency. The courts of heaven call you to be wise as serpents and gentle as doves, to test every spirit and every message, including the ones that come wrapped in spiritual language. Discernment is not suspicion, it is spiritual wisdom. It is the ability to sense the difference between what is genuine and what is merely persuasive. Sometimes, the most dangerous deceptions come from those closest to us, friends, family, or even spiritual leaders, who, knowingly or unknowingly, project their own fears, limitations, or agendas onto us. Other times, deception comes through the digital world, online prophets, influencers, or communities that promise quick fixes, instant miracles, or secret knowledge, but leave you feeling empty or manipulated. Ask yourself, does this voice lead me closer to peace, or does it stir up fear and confusion? Does this message align with the character of God, love, truth, and freedom, or does it demand blind loyalty, secrecy, or urgency that feels heavy and pressured? True prophetic guidance will always point you back to your own relationship with the divine, encouraging you to seek confirmation, to pray, and to trust your own spirit. Counterfeit voices demand your attention, your allegiance, and often your resources, without ever empowering you to stand on your own. Boundaries are not walls of isolation, they are gates of wisdom. You are allowed to say no to voices that drain you, to step back from relationships that repeatedly cross your boundaries, and to question teachings that do not resonate with your spirit. The courts of heaven honor your right to protect your peace. You are not obligated to accept every invitation, to respond to every message, or to follow every leader. Your discernment is a gift, a spiritual tool that grows stronger every time you use it. If you sense a pattern of false urgency, messages that insist you must act now or lose everything, pause and pray. The divine does not manipulate through fear or scarcity. Heaven's timing is perfect, and what is truly meant for you will not require you to compromise your peace or your values. If a voice online or in your life demands secrecy, shames your questions, or isolates you from wise counsel, recognize these as red flags. The truth does not fear the light, it welcomes examination and confirmation. Let this be your declaration: I choose discernment over deception. I trust the Spirit within me to guide me into all truth. I set boundaries that protect my peace and my purpose. Speak these words aloud, and let them settle in your heart. You are not alone in this. The angels are assigned to guard your path, and the courts of heaven are invested in your clarity and freedom. As you grow in discernment, remember that even the most well-meaning people can be mistaken. Give yourself permission to seek confirmation, to wait for peace, and to trust your own process. You do not have to rush. The divine is patient, and your journey is unique. If you ever feel pressured, manipulated, or confused, step back and ask for wisdom. The Spirit will never lead you into bondage or fear. And now, a brief but important word. This message is offered as spiritual encouragement and inspiration. It is not a substitute for legal, medical, or financial advice. Always seek professional counsel when needed, and trust that the divine can work through every avenue of wisdom and care. As you continue, you will be invited into a moment of protection and declaration, a sacred space where you can claim the shield of light over your life and your journey. There are moments when you feel exposed, when the weight of the world presses in and your spirit longs for shelter. Vulnerability is not weakness, it is the honest recognition that you cannot walk this path alone. But you are not left unguarded. Even now, the courts of heaven have assigned angels to your side, and Archangel Michael stands ready to cover you with a shield of light. Where you have felt vulnerable, you are about to experience divine covering. Let us enter this sacred moment together. Wherever you are, take a deep breath and open your heart. Imagine a radiant shield, shimmering with the light of heaven, descending around you. This is not just imagination, it is a spiritual reality. The shield of Archangel Michael is a barrier against harm, confusion, and every force that would seek to undermine your peace. You are not alone in this battle. You are surrounded, protected, and loved. Now, I invite you to join in a prayer of protection, a call and response declaration that unites us as one community under the covering of heaven. Speak these words aloud, or whisper them in your heart, knowing that your voice is heard in the courts above. Archangel Michael, mighty protector, I invite your shield of light around me now. Where I have felt exposed, cover me. Where I have felt afraid, strengthen me. Where I have felt attacked, defend me. Let no weapon formed against me prosper. Let every scheme of darkness be scattered. I receive the covering of heaven over my mind, my body, my spirit, and my home. I declare that I am safe, I am guarded, I am held in divine light. Amen. Feel the shift as you speak these words. The difference between vulnerability and divine covering is not just a feeling, it is a reality that changes the atmosphere around you. You are not at the mercy of circumstance. You are under the protection of the Most High, shielded by the authority of Archangel Michael and the host of heaven. If you feel led, type, "I receive protection," in the comments below. Let this be your public declaration, a sign to yourself and to the world that you are choosing to stand under the shield of light. As you do, know that you are joining a community of faith-forward souls, each one covered, each one strengthened, each one standing together in hope. Carry this shield with you into every conversation, every decision, every moment of your day. When fear tries to creep in, remember this prayer. When doubt whispers, recall this declaration. The shield of light is not just for this moment, it is for every step you take from here forward. As you rest in this protection, prepare your heart for the next phase, practical steps and sacred rituals that will help you create a space of safety and peace in your daily life. There is a sacred power in preparation. When you take intentional steps to create order in your environment, you invite the presence of peace and the authority of heaven into your daily life. The difference between chaos and order, between fear and faith in action, is often found in the simple, practical choices you make each day. Now is the time to prepare your space, not just your physical surroundings, but your heart and mind as well, so that you can receive the fullness of protection and restoration that is being released over you. Begin with your physical space. Look around the room where you are right now. Is there clutter that weighs on your spirit? Are there objects that carry memories of pain, disappointment, or fear? Take a few moments to clear away what no longer serves you. As you do, imagine that you are making room for new blessings, for fresh hope, for the light of heaven to fill every corner. This is not just tidying up, it is a sacred act, a declaration that you are ready for order to replace chaos. You may wish to light a candle, open a window, or play gentle music that lifts your spirit. These small rituals signal to your soul that something is shifting, that you are moving from fear into faith in action. As you prepare your space, speak this simple prayer: Divine Presence, fill this place with your peace. Let every shadow be replaced by light, every worry by hope, every fear by faith. I dedicate this space as a sanctuary for your presence and your protection. Amen. Now, turn your attention inward. Your mind and heart are sacred spaces, too. Take a journal or a piece of paper and write down the thoughts that have been swirling within you. What fears have been keeping you awake at night? What hopes have you been afraid to voice? What patterns or cycles do you sense repeating in your life? As you write, do not judge or censor yourself. Let the words flow honestly and freely. This is your opportunity to bring order to the chaos within, to name what has been hidden, and to invite healing where there has been pain. After you have written, read your words aloud if you feel comfortable. Notice how it feels to give voice to your inner world. Then, on a new page, write a declaration of faith, I am safe. I am protected. I am open to receive every blessing that heaven has for me. I choose order over chaos, faith over fear, and hope over despair. Let these words become an anchor for you, a reminder that you are not powerless in the face of uncertainty. Consider creating a small altar or sacred corner in your home, a place where you can return each day to pray, reflect, and reconnect with the divine. Place objects there that remind you of hope, protection, and restoration, a stone, a feather, a favorite scripture, or a photo that brings you joy. Let this space be a visual reminder that you are surrounded by love and watched over by angels. As you move through your day, return to your breath. When anxiety rises, pause and breathe deeply. Inhale peace, exhale worry. Inhale faith, exhale fear. These simple acts are not insignificant. They are powerful tools for shifting the atmosphere within and around you. The courts of heaven honor every step you take toward order, every act of faith you choose over fear. Remember, preparation is not about perfection. It is about intention. It is about choosing, moment by moment, to align your life with the truth that you are protected, provided for, and deeply loved. The difference between a life ruled by chaos and a life anchored in order is found in these daily choices, these sacred rituals, these moments of honest reflection and prayer. As you continue on this journey, know that every act of preparation is a seed sown for your restoration. The next phase will reveal how what was delayed will be released, and how the overflow of heaven is coming to meet you in the very places where you once felt lack. There is a moment in every journey when the waiting ends and the breakthrough begins. You have walked through seasons of delay, where prayers seemed unanswered and doors remained firmly shut. You have known the ache of scarcity, of resources, of opportunities, of hope itself. But hear this now, the courts of heaven have issued a new decree. The scrolls that once bore the seal of delay are being opened, and what was withheld is about to be released. The time of divine reversal is at hand. Imagine the sacred halls of heaven, where your name is written on a scroll, every promise and every prayer carefully recorded. For a season, it may have seemed as if your requests were lost in a vault, sealed and inaccessible. But the divine does not forget. The angels have been dispatched, the seals are being broken, and the abundance that was stored up for you is being released in this very hour. The difference between scarcity and abundance, between closed and open, is shifting in your favor. You may have felt as if you were living under a closed heaven, where every effort met resistance and every hope was met with silence. But the truth is, the delays were not denials. They were divine pauses, orchestrated for your protection and preparation. The courts of heaven have been working behind the scenes, aligning people, resources, and timing so that when the release comes, it will be more than you could have asked or imagined. What was once locked away is now being brought into the light. Picture the moment when a royal seal is broken, and a decree is read aloud for all to hear. That is what is happening in the spirit over your life. The decree of lack is being overturned by the decree of overflow. The scarcity you have endured is giving way to abundance, not just in material things, but in peace, in relationships, in purpose, and in joy. The vaults of heaven are opening, and the blessings that have your name on them are being released. This is not just a promise for some distant future. The shift is happening now. You will begin to notice signs of release, unexpected opportunities, reconciliations, resources arriving just when you need them, and a sense of ease where there was once struggle. The closed doors that frustrated you are swinging open, and the places where you felt stuck are becoming pathways of progress. The difference between closed and open is not just a change in circumstance, it is a change in atmosphere, a shift in the spiritual climate around you. Let your heart receive this word. You are moving from delay to divine release. The courts of heaven have ruled in your favor. The scrolls are being unsealed, and the angels are delivering what was promised. Where you once saw only lack, you will now see overflow. Where you once felt forgotten, you will now feel favored. The abundance of heaven is not just enough, it is more than enough, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. If you have been waiting for a sign, let this be it. The time of waiting is ending. The time of release is here. Speak this declaration over your life. I receive the release of heaven. Every delay is turning into divine acceleration. Every place of lack is becoming a place of overflow. What was closed is now open. What was withheld is now released. I step into abundance, favor, and restoration. As you embrace this new season, remember that abundance is not just for your comfort, but for your calling. The overflow you receive is meant to bless others, to bring hope to those still waiting, and to testify to the faithfulness of the divine. The next step will show you how to steward this release with humility and wisdom, protecting your peace and purpose as you walk in the fullness of what has been given. When the doors of heaven open and blessings begin to flow, it is easy to be swept up in the excitement of new opportunities, answered prayers, and long-awaited breakthroughs. Yet, the true test of abundance is not in the receiving, but in the stewarding. Restoration is not just a gift, it is a responsibility. The difference between ego and mission, between temporary gain and lasting peace, is found in how you protect and nurture what has been entrusted to you. You have journeyed through seasons of lack and delay, and now you stand in a place of overflow. But with every blessing comes a call to wisdom. The courts of heaven have not released these gifts for your comfort alone, but for your calling. Your restoration is meant to ripple outward, touching lives, healing wounds, and advancing the purpose for which you were created. This is the moment to anchor yourself in humility, to remember that every good thing comes from above, and to hold your blessings with open hands. Ego seeks to claim the credit, to hoard the gain, to build walls of pride around what has been received. Mission, on the other hand, recognizes that you are a vessel, a steward, a channel through which heaven's abundance can flow. The difference is subtle but profound. When you operate from ego, the blessing becomes a burden, and peace slips through your fingers. When you operate from mission, the blessing multiplies, and peace becomes your foundation. Set boundaries around your restoration. Not everyone will understand the new season you are entering. Some may try to draw from your overflow without honoring your journey or respecting your limits. It is not selfish to protect your peace, it is wise. You are allowed to say no, to rest, to discern where and how you invest your time, energy, and resources. The courts of heaven honor your boundaries, for they are the gates that guard your purpose. Lasting peace is not found in the abundance of things, but in the alignment of your life with your calling. Temporary gain can be lost as quickly as it is found, but the peace that comes from walking in your purpose endures through every season. Let your restoration be a testimony, not just to what you have received, but to how you have grown. Let it be seen in your generosity, your gratitude, your willingness to lift others as you have been lifted. Take time to reflect on the blessings you have received. Ask yourself, how can I use this overflow to serve my mission? Where do I need to set new boundaries to protect my peace? Who can I encourage, support, or bless from the abundance I now carry? These questions are not just practical, they are spiritual. They keep your heart aligned with the source of your restoration and ensure that your peace is not fleeting, but lasting. Speak this over your life: I choose mission over ego. I protect my peace and steward my blessings with wisdom and humility. My restoration is secure, my purpose is clear, and my heart remains open to the guidance of heaven. As you walk forward, remember that stewardship is a daily practice. It is found in the small decisions, the quiet moments, the choices to honor your journey and protect your purpose. The next step will invite you to connect with a community of others who are walking this path, offering support, encouragement, and a sense of belonging as you continue to grow. In the quiet moments, it's easy to believe you are walking this path alone. The weight of your journey, the battles you've faced, and the victories you've won can sometimes feel like a solitary experience. But the truth is, you are part of a much larger story, a tapestry of souls who, like you, are seeking restoration, protection, and hope. The difference between isolation and belonging is not just about who stands beside you, but about the willingness to reach out and connect. You are surrounded by a community of faith-forward hearts, each one carrying their own story of delay, breakthrough, and divine intervention. When you share your experiences, you not only lighten your own load, but you also become a beacon of hope for someone else who may be struggling in silence. Your testimony matters. Your voice is needed. In the courts of heaven, every story is woven together, creating a chorus of faith that is stronger than any single voice alone. This is your invitation to step out of isolation and into belonging. If you feel led, share in the comments what resonated with you, or simply type, "I receive restoration." Let this be your declaration, a sign that you are open to the next wave of blessing and connection. As you do, know that you are joining hands with others around the world who are walking this same journey. You are not alone, and your presence here is a gift to this community. If you haven't already, I encourage you to subscribe and stay connected for the next message. Each word, each prayer, each moment of encouragement is designed to strengthen you and remind you that you are part of something greater. Together, we create a space where hope is restored, faith is renewed, and burdens are shared. Belonging is a choice. It is the decision to show up, to be seen, and to offer your story as a light for others. As you continue forward, remember that you are never truly alone. The courts of heaven celebrate your courage, and this community welcomes you with open arms. The journey is not over. The next message will carry you further, offering new insight and fresh encouragement as you walk in the fullness of your restoration. As this message draws to a close, let your heart settle into a place of calm. The storms you have weathered, both seen and unseen, have not defined you, they have refined you. Now, as the winds quiet and the clouds part, you stand in the gentle light of a new beginning. The difference between storm and calm is not just the absence of trouble, but the presence of peace that surpasses understanding. You are being sealed in that peace now, wrapped in the assurance that you are protected, guided, and never alone. This is not just an ending, it is the threshold of something new. The courts of heaven have witnessed your journey, and the angels continue to walk beside you. Every prayer you have spoken, every step you have taken, has brought you to this moment of release and restoration. The light that surrounds you now is not fleeting, it is a promise that the divine goes before you, making a way where there once seemed to be none. Carry this blessing with you. May you walk in the calm that follows the storm, may your spirit remain open to the guidance of heaven, and may every new beginning be marked by hope, courage, and unwavering faith. Let the peace you feel now be the foundation for every step you take from this day forward. As you move into the next chapter, know that more is waiting for you. The journey continues, and each message will build upon the last, guiding you deeper into restoration, wisdom, and purpose. Stay expectant, for the next episode will bring fresh insight and encouragement, lighting your path with new revelation. Until then, rest in the assurance that you are sealed in light, protected by grace, and held in the loving gaze of heaven. Your story is unfolding, and the best is yet to come.